Good evening, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. You are tuned into the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight we are going to talk about the 15-0 Cleveland Cavaliers. We will talk about what's up next for the Cleveland Charge. We'll get into some NCAA men's soccer. Then we will talk some hockey with the Blue Jackets, Monsters, and Ohio State. And then we will wrap the show up with some Browns and some NCAA college football. We've got some teams in the Division II and Division III playoffs, and we will talk about what's going on with Ohio State. So stay right here, and we will get into that here shortly. But before we do, we are going to get a word from our wonderful sponsors: Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, Seal the Deal Wax Seals, and of course, IE Sports Radio. So stay right here with the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And we will get right into it after these messages.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Now, let's get into the sports of it all. But before we do, shout out to Ralph Calise, who has joined me in the chat. He says, have a great show. Thank you very much. And he's Steelers Browns Thursday night. We will definitely be talking about that later in the show. And he says, I'm feeling a letdown from Pittsburgh, so you guys have a chance. I don't know. I don't know, Ralph. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about this team here in Cleveland anymore. It's been a wild ride this season so far. But, they did show out against the Ravens, so maybe they'll show out against the Steelers. They surely didn't show out against the Bengals. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But before we get into all of that, shout out once again to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Check them out. You can place your orders at planetjerky.net. It is the best beef jerky that I have ever tried myself. Also, check out Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You can find them on iesportsradio.com/seal the deal wax seals to place your orders. It is the perfect finish to your invitations, letters, gifts, Christmas cards. Be getting to that here in the next few weeks. So definitely a nice little addition to your Christmas card seals. And IE Sports Radio. Be sure to follow us on XIG, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, and also now Blue Sky. You can also catch all of our shows on the website, iesportsradio.com. You can get more information about each of the shows and the different hosts. You can get the show schedules. You can visit the shop and get yourself some IE Sports Radio merch. And all of our shows are also available on just about any platform that you get podcasts. If you just want to listen to the audio, if you're driving or something and can't watch a YouTube video, a perfect way to catch up on your sports news there. You can follow me on X at Show of the Land IE, and on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at Believeland Girl, and on TikTok at Jen.Believeland. I made this announcement already on X. I'm going to make it here, and then I will actually be following through. I am going to be deactivating my personal X account. I'm switching over to Blue Sky mainly, so you can follow me there, or follow the show page at Show of the Land IE on X if you are still using X. But I will be deactivating my personal page on X probably tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow night. And Ralph says, AFC North, there is always a chance. That there is. There always is. It doesn't matter how bad these teams are. They always play hard against each other. But let's get into the more interesting team we have here in Cleveland. These Cleveland Cavaliers, who are now 15-0 after beating the Charlotte Hornets on Sunday, 128-114. Donovan Mitchell was out for the game due to rest. No injury, so nothing to worry about there. Coach was just giving him some rest because we got some big games coming up. and we are in the midst of the Emirates Cup play, so doesn't hurt to give him a rest. Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro both left the game with ankle injuries. So that was a little scary. But the Cavs pulled through and still got the 14-point win. Darius Garland led the team with 25 points. He also recorded a double-double with 12 assists. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley also both recorded double doubles. Jarrett Allen had 21 points and 15 rebounds, and Evan Mobley had 23 points and 11 rebounds. Now, for some injury updates, Dean Wade has been ruled out for tonight's game against the Boston Celtics with an ankle injury. Karis LeVert, Sam Merrill, and Isaac Okoro are all questionable and expected to be game time decisions tonight for the Celtics game. Next up for this undefeated Cavs team. Tonight, as I've said multiple times, the Cavs will be playing the Boston Celtics. It is game 2 in the Emirates Cup group play. And it is probably the toughest game that the Cavs have had thus far this season. It'll be interesting to see who is active out of the 3 questionables, Karis LeVert, Sam Merrill, and Isaac Okoro. If Isaac Okoro and or Karis LeVert can't go, with Dean Wade also already out and Max Strus still out, I will be interested to see what Kenny Atkinson does with the starting lineup. Isaac Okoro has been starting in Max Strus's spot of late. Prior to that, Dean Wade was starting in that spot. The one game that Evan Mobley was out, George Niang started. So I'm guessing they'll go George Niang, but we'll see. Wednesday, they will be playing the New Orleans Pelicans. Sunday, the Toronto Raptors. And then I am postponing my show next week due to the Thanksgiving holiday. My office is closed Thursday and Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are going to be a little hectic. So my show will actually be on Friday next week. I don't have a time just yet, but keep an eye on my socials and I will post it once I get that all squared away. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the show before the afternoon games or after. So it will either be probably like noonish, noon 1, or like 6 or 7. So we'll see what how things play out the rest of the week, because I may actually have to log on and work a little bit on Friday too. So it will be sometime on Friday, but like I said, keep an eye on my socials and I will get that posted once I have that solidified. Then after Sunday's game, the Cavs go on to the Atlanta Hawks next Wednesday, and then they again play the Hawks Friday, and that will be game 3 in the Emirates Cup group play. Shout out to Yukio, who has joined the chat. He is one of our oldest fans in Japan. So thank you so much for joining, Yukio. Appreciate it. And Ralph says, wow, oh, wow, Blue Sky. Yes, I am making the switch over to Blue Sky. I've been working over the last week to build my account up. That is going to wrap things up for the Cavs. I am very much looking forward to tonight's game. I have kind of had it marked on my calendar for a while now. This is going to change the way some people talk about the Cavs depending on how this game goes. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we're talking 16-0 tomorrow, but it's going to be a tough one. It is definitely going to be a tough one, but the Cavs and the Celtics always play each other hard. It doesn't seem to matter what's going on with either team. It's always a really, really good game. So fingers crossed they get that win number 16. The Charge have not had any games since we last spoke on Saturday. So their next games are tonight against the Windy City Bulls. Sunday, they take on the Motor City Cruise. Next Tuesday, again, the Motor City Cruise. So hopefully we could talk about some Charge wins here next Friday. Now we are going to move on to some NCAA men's soccer. The soccer bracket has been released. And first off, we have Division 1 Ohio State. They are ranked number 1 in the bracket. They have a first round bye, and they will play the winner of Western Michigan versus Southern Illinois University Edwardsville on November 24th. So good luck to the Buckeyes men's soccer team. Akron also made the bracket, and they will play Princeton on November 21st, which is Thursday. And if they win, they will then face Indiana on Sunday. So good luck also to the Zips men's soccer team. And I forgot to change the color for Akron. Silly me. Let's do that real quick. We'll just give them a little. There we go. There's the Zips. Now for the last team that has made the bracket, we have Kenyon College Lords in Division 3 men's soccer. They have actually already made it to round 3 in the Division 3 bracket, and they will play Connecticut College on Saturday. If they win, they will advance to the quarterfinals. So good luck to the Ohio State Buckeyes men's soccer team, Akron Zips men's soccer team, and Kenyon College Lords men's soccer team as they take part in the NCAA soccer playoffs. That is going to wrap things up for the first segment of the show. I am going to take a short break, and when I get back, we will get into some hockey with the Blue Jackets and the Monsters. So stay right here listening to the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I will be right back after these messages.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For a down south education on Florida sports and athletics, it's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out those other shows, Chi-Town Weekly with Adam Karnick for all your Chicago sports needs. He is on Monday evenings, and Palm Tree Sports with Corey Pujols. You can catch him on Sunday evenings for your Florida sports needs. Now let's talk some hockey. Columbus Blue Jackets had an up and down last couple of days. Saturday, they played the Montreal Canadiens and they lost 5-1. Dante Fabro had the lone goal. It was his first goal with the Blue Jackets. So, congratulations to Dante on recording his first Blue Jackets goal. Then last night, the Blue Jackets were in Boston taking on the Bruins. And funny story, the Bruins are firing people today. So, the Blue Jackets won 5-1. Dmitry Voronkov, Mathieu Olivier, James Van Riemsdyk, Justin Danforth, and Yegor Chinnikov scored the 5 goals. Both Olivier's goal and Danforth's goal were shorthanded goals. It was the 6th goal of the season for Olivier, which is a career high for him. So congratulations to Mathieu Olivier on that career high. And hopefully he continues to increase that career high as the season goes on. It was the 6th time in franchise history that the team scored 2 shorthanded goals in the same game. And it was the Blue Jackets' first win in Boston since 2016. So quite the accomplishment there for the Blue Jackets, for this young up-and-coming team. They are definitely making some strides so far this season. This win also broke a 7-game road losing streak. So it was a much needed win as well. We have one injury update for the Blue Jackets. Kent Johnson has been practicing with the team, and he did travel with them on the road trip to Montreal and Boston. And they are saying he could return to the lineup as early as Thursday. So that will be a nice boost to the Blue Jackets lineup there. He was having a great season prior to the injury, so looking forward to having him back out on the ice. Next up for the Blue Jackets, Thursday, they will be playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Saturday, the Carolina Hurricanes. Wednesday, the Montreal Canadiens. Friday, the Calgary Flames. I do not know why I cannot talk tonight. Calgary Flames. And it is a 4-game homestand. So hopefully they can get a couple, or better yet, few wins out of this homestand before they head back out on the road. Now we will move on to the Monsters. The Monsters played the Providence Bruins on Sunday, and they won 4-3 in overtime, and it was their 6th straight win. Rocco Grimaldi recorded 2 goals, and Travis Wolanski scored the 3rd goal to end regular time. Denton Matejchuk had the game winner in overtime. And if you watched the show on Saturday, you know that it was his second in a row overtime winner, both against the Providence Bruins. So way to go, Denton. Have some awards and roster updates for the Monsters. Denton Matejchuk, as previously mentioned, was named the AHL Player of the Week. He recorded 4 goals and 3 assists through 4 games over the last week. So congratulations to Denton. We may be seeing him down in Columbus here in the not too distant future with the way he's been playing. He is leading the AHL defenseman in points and goals scored. He's also leading all rookies. So he is having himself quite the season. If you remember back when the season first started, he initially made the Blue Jackets roster, but shortly after the first final roster was announced, he was sent down to Cleveland. So there's some question marks about David Juracek and what's happening with him. And he did play in the game last night, but he only played like 5.5 minutes or something like that. So there's some question on if Juracek will be staying in Columbus. So we may be seeing a switcheroo coming between Denton and Juracek. So we'll keep an eye on that. Next, oh, wait, I forgot about the roster update. Silly me. Tristan Ashbrook was released from his PTO. So wish him all the best. Hopefully he can sign elsewhere. Next up for the Blue Jackets on Saturday and Sunday, the Blue Jackets will be playing the Milwaukee Admirals. And then next Wednesday, the Rochester Americans. Now for some college hockey. Back to those Ohio State Buckeyes. Both the Ohio State men's and women's hockey teams are currently ranked. The men's team is ranked number 14, and they are currently 7-2-1. And the women's team is currently ranked number 8, and they are 12-3-2. Quite a slide from their undefeated season last year, but they did lose quite a few ladies who were seniors. So they're still doing pretty well. They did just take down Wisconsin, who was at the time ranked number 1. They are no longer, but at the time they were. So, or it might have been number 2, but regardless, they were 1 or 2. And Ohio State's women's team did beat them. After losing to them right before that, they played them 2 games in a row, and they lost the first one and they won the second one. So hopefully they will continue on the winning trajectory and move up in those rankings. And hopefully the men can also move up. That is about all I have for the hockey, because there's not a whole lot going on right now. And we just talked about them on Saturday. So I am going to take another short break, and then we will get into the football. Wah, wah, wah. So stay right here with the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I will be right back after this.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph DeLeese, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate, diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? then please join me on the Yinzer Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports, and I will update you on all that's black and gold and have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide through your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
Welcome back to the show of the land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out the Yinzer Report with Ralph Calise. You can catch him on Tuesdays right before me at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the defining moment. Just have to watch the schedule for that one because that one goes when Larry has time to do the show. Usually on Saturdays. So watch out for that one. It's a really great show. It covers all kinds of sports, not just one particular sport or one particular group of teams. It's a really fun show. So be sure to check that one out next time you see it out there on the schedule. Now we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. Sunday, they played the New Orleans Saints, and they lost 35-14. I'm not really sure what went wrong with this game, honestly. But they didn't score enough, and they allowed New Orleans to score too much. I mean, that's what happened, basically. So Kadarius Toney was elevated from the practice squad for this game. He didn't do anything except lose some yards, so don't really need to talk about him. But the defense forced 2 turnovers, 1 interception, and 1 fumble recovery. Jameis Winston went 30 for 46, 395 yards, and threw 2 touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy had one of the best games of his career, if not the best game of his career, with 6 receptions, 142 yards, and 1 touchdown. And the touchdown was an 89-yard receiving touchdown. So it's not like the offense didn't perform. They did. I mean, I'll tell you what went wrong. Dustin Hopkins couldn't hit the broadside of a freaking barn. That's what happened. He missed at least 2 field goals, an extra point. The extra point didn't matter because there was a penalty, so it ended up moving them to like the 1 yard line or half yard line or whatever it was. So they ended up going for 2. Unfortunately, they did not convert. But on the second touchdown, they went for 2 and they did convert, hence the 14 points. But Dustin Hopkins could not hit a field goal to save his life on Sunday. very, very concerning. I was calling for him to not even be allowed back on the plane, but according to Kevin Stefanski, they have no thoughts of changing kickers. Dustin Hopkins is their guy, so take that for what it is, I guess. I don't get it myself, but with those missed kicks, this game would have been a heck of a lot closer. And yeah, I don't know. Now on to the injuries, which makes the loss even worse. Mike Hall Jr. has been placed on IR with a knee injury that was not related to the game. He was injured in practice last week, so he's on the IR. DeJuan Jones, who was carted off in an air cast during the Saints game, this is the loss, will be out for the remainder of the season with a broken fibula, which will require surgery. And I'm telling you what, when you see a 6'8" giant of a man on a cart with tears streaming down his face, it's not a pretty sight. And I almost started crying myself because I hate seeing men cry. I don't know how to react to that. So, yeah, you knew it was bad when you saw the tears. I feel awful for him. He was doing so well at left tackle. Um, so hopefully he has a successful surgery and comes back better and stronger next season. Also, tight end Jeff Swaim sustained a concussion and is in the concussion protocol. He has not practiced yet this week, so I think he has already been ruled out for Saturday's game, if I'm not, or not Saturday, Thursday's game, if I'm not mistaken. Additionally to the injuries, with the news on DeJuan Jones's injury, just today the Browns have placed him on IR and they re-signed tackle Jerron Christian, who was on the team last year after the team sustained an abundance of injuries to the offensive line. He was signed off of the Rams practice squad, so he will be returning to the team, most likely as a backup. From the way things are looking, Jedrick Wills will be back to play on Thursday, which brings us to our next topic. The Browns are playing Thursday night football this week, and they will be taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just beat the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. As Ralph said earlier, it's the AFC North. There's always a chance. And he said he's feeling a little let down from Pittsburgh. So the Browns have a chance. Honestly, I'm expecting to get our asses handed to us. But I was also expecting that against the Ravens, and that didn't happen. So, gonna go into Thursday cautiously optimistic. However, with DeJuan Jones out, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm not a huge Jedrick Wills fan, though he is better than the alternatives. Though whoever stepped in for DeJuan Jones on Sunday, they never really said on the broadcast, and I couldn't catch his number. I know James Hudson is on injured reserve, so it was not James Hudson. So I'm not 100% sure who came in to take over at left tackle for DeJuan Jones, but um, whoever it was, he played fairly well. I didn't see a huge drop off after DeJuan Jones went out, and he did go out fairly early in the game. So I guess that's a positive. So we will see what happens there at left tackle. There is a possibility that they'll put Jack Conklin at left tackle. He did practice at left tackle, and he may have played one game at left tackle too. I can't even keep track. There's been so many changes on the offensive line this week or this season, but he was at for sure practicing at left tackle when he was ready to come back, and Jedrick Wills wasn't, and DeJuan Jones was already playing right tackle. So we could see Jack Conklin slide over to left tackle and then put the new guy, whoever it may be, in at right tackle, especially if Jedrick Wills isn't good to go for Thursday. He did not practice yesterday and he was limited today. So we'll see when the final injury reports come out where that stands. But if he is not good to go, I would not be surprised to see Jack Conklin slide over to left tackle and someone else come in at right tackle. But we'll see, especially with them going up against TJ Watt. It'll be interesting to see how they play that. But back to the Saints game. Denzel Ward had probably the best game of his career. He was on fire. He was everywhere and anywhere the ball was. An interception, a huge pass breakup. So, congratulations to Denzel Ward on an amazing game. He also earned a 92 PFF grade for the week, so that is fantastic. Glad to see him back to form, though he does scare the heck out of me with those concussions. But that is going to wrap things up for Browns football. We will talk more about them next week. Yukio says Steelers had a tough game last Sunday. Away Thursday night football game after tough game. Yes, the Thursday night games are always tough, especially when you play a division opponent both games. That is rough for the Steelers for sure. And then the Browns are coming back from New Orleans and practicing for 2.5 days and then playing the Steelers on Thursday. So yeah, it's I don't think it's going to be, I mean, it may not be a blowout, but I don't, at this point, I just don't have a whole lot of faith in the Browns the way this season has gone. But moving on to some college football where the news is a little bit better. First, we have the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are currently number 2 ranked. And Saturday, they played Northwestern. They won 31-7. They did not have the greatest start to the game. Actually, for a while there, I was like, are they seriously going to lose to Northwestern? But they did figure it out and get things rolling and won 31-7. This coming Saturday, they will be playing number 5 Indiana, and I believe, if I am not mistaken, the winner of this game will play Oregon for the Big Ten championship. So, huge game. Only the 3rd ranked team Ohio State has played all season. They won 1 and lost 1. They lost to Oregon by 1, and then they beat the pants off Penn State. So, Indiana is having a hell of a season, so we'll see. The game is Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time, so definitely looking forward to that game. It's going to be a huge test for Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes, so hopefully they can come out on top. Next, we have a new team added to the docket. Got a funny story about this one once I get into it. Division 2, Ashland University Eagles. So Saturday on 3 and Out College Edition, Taryn and Larry were talking about the Division 2 teams and how everybody was doing and that the playoffs were getting ready to start and all of that jazz. And I asked what they thought about the Eagles and if they would make the Division 2 college playoffs. And Larry said, they're definitely an up and coming team, but I don't think they get selected for the playoffs. Well, Ashland finished the regular season 8-3 overall, 8-1 in the conference, and were named the GMAC champions on Saturday. And then Sunday, they were selected to the D2 college playoffs, and they will play number 2 Charleston, West Virginia. That's Charleston in West Virginia, not Charleston in South Carolina, on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the Eagles have had an up and down season. They're at least 2 of their 3 losses were to not so great teams. However, one of their wins was over one of the top teams in Division 2 college football, which is Findlay, who is also in the GMAC, hence Ashland's GMAC title. So, wishing much luck to the Ashland Eagles. They have been trying their darndest to get into the Division 2 rankings all season, and they never made it, but they did make the playoffs. So congratulations to the Eagles. Go out there and play your butts off on Saturday and show the world what you're made of and knock out the number 2 team. Next on the college football. Oops. We're going just a different shade of purple with the Division 3 Mount Union Purple Raiders. They finished the season at 10-0, and they are the OAC champions once again for like the 35th year in a row, something like that. Ridiculous. And they have earned a first round bye in the Division 3 college playoffs. So congratulations to the Mount Union Purple Raiders. Hopefully they can get it done in the playoffs. But they have some competition, some in-conference competition. Another team we have talked about them, but not in a while. The John Carroll Blue Streaks. They were earlier in the season ranked in Division 3 football. However, after losing to Mount Union, they fell from the rankings and never made it back in. But on Saturday, they beat number 22 Marietta 49-35. Finishing the season at 8-2 overall, 8-1 in the conference, that only loss being to Mount Union. And they have been selected to the D3 college playoffs, and they will play Mount St. Joseph University on Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Mount St. Joseph is in the Cincinnati area. It's in Delhi Township, Ohio. And I had to look it up on the map because I'd never heard of it. I figured it wasn't close to here, or I probably would have heard of it. And lo and behold, it is right there on the Ohio River, just outside of Cincinnati. So that is where Mount St. Joseph is. So good luck to the Blue Streaks as they face Mount St. Joseph University on Saturday. The winner of that game will play Mount Union next Saturday, the 30th. So we will talk about that next Friday and see who is playing Mount Union in the second round of the Division III college football playoffs. I am so very proud of the Blue Streaks for keeping the fight going after they got knocked out of the rankings after they lost to Mount Union. Personally, I didn't really think that was all that fair because Mount Union was a top ranked team and John Carroll was mid to lower ranked. And they didn't get their butts kicked or anything. It was a fairly close game. So, it is what it is. But they kept fighting and they earned their selection to the playoff bracket. And now they get a chance to fight some more. So, way to go, Blue Streaks. Congratulations also to the undefeated Purple Raiders, and best of luck to the Ashland Eagles as they take on the number 2 team in Division II college football. That is about all I have for tonight's show. I need to go get ready for this Cavs Celtics game. So I am going to say a sayonara and good night. And get that music playing. I will catch you all next Friday, the 29th, for my next show. And maybe, just maybe, we will be talking about the 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20-0 Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's just put that out there in the universe. We will next Friday be talking about the 20, well, it might be 19 depending on what time I do the show. And Cleveland Cavaliers next week. And we will get into more of the other things that we spoke about today. The Charge, NCAA men's soccer playoffs, hockey with the Monsters and the Blue Jackets and Ohio State. And we'll see what happened between the Browns and the Steelers. And of course, we'll see where things stand with Ohio State and the Division II and Division III playoff teams. So be sure to catch me next Friday and keep an eye on my socials for the time of that show. Thank you one and all for joining me on the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Next up is the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Vax, and you can catch her over on Spreaker for your Buffalo sports needs. Have a wonderful evening. Go Cavs.